In today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet a basket similar to this one. I am going to be using Bobini 5mm braided macrame cord. This is the color terracotta. This is what I will start with. Anytime you buy a new roll, you want to make sure that you are finding the knot and pulling from here, and do not remove the wrapper. This will avoid getting everything all tangled up. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull out a bunch of the cord to get started. I am going to use a 10mm crochet hook, and I will link the hooks and the cord in the description box below. To get started, I'm going to make a magic ring. I will take the tail end of the cord and place it over 2 fingers like this. Then I am going to take the working cord and wrap it around my fingers, creating an X so that it looks like that. Now I will turn it over, get my hook, place it underneath the first cord, and pull that second one through. As I pull, I'm going to twist it like this. Use these 2 fingers to pinch right here and take my fingers out. Now I'm going to look for the working cord, which is right here. I like to place it over just my pointer finger. And then I place these 2 fingers back in the circle and pull it to the left. Now I have a ring. I will take my hook and yarn over and then pull through. And that is a magic circle or a magic ring. Some people like to pull this out. Doesn't matter. I normally leave it in, but you can pull that out if you'd like. But the important part is to make sure that your tail is on the left side like this. So I am going to place 6 single crochet through this magic ring. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to place it through the ring. Yarn over, pull up a loop like this. I have 2 loops on my hook. Now I will yarn over and pull through both. Again, goes in the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, I have 6. If you notice that you are losing your tail before you get to your 6, you could always just pull it a little bit to make sure that you don't lose it. You don't want to lose your tail because you need it to close the ring. So now I will double check my stitches. Do not include what is on the hook. So starting from the beginning, if you look at the side, you can see these little V's. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you look at it from the side, it will look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now go ahead and pull that ring to close it. It's okay if it's not completely closed because for me it typically opens anyway on the second round. Okay, I just wanted to point out that before we close it, this is the spot that we are going to be placing our hook through. So right here. It's kind of hard to see once I close it, so I want to show you before I pull this over. It's only for this first round that you're going in on the side like that. So I'm going to take my hook, push it underneath this first stitch, bring this loop through and pull. I don't need the loop to be that big, so I can just go like that. And again, I'm going right here on the side. So when I push through, I can see that in the back it is splitting between these 2 posts. So every single crochet from the front looks like a V in between like that. And then in the back it has this top loop and then these 2 little posts. So we are going to be doing waistcoat stitches, which means we're going to push our hook through the 2 posts in the back or the V in the front, which turns into the posts in the back. So I did that here. So now I'm going to ignore my tail, take the working cord, pull a loop through to the front like this very carefully. Make sure that you don't lose this piece here. Now I will place my hook back through the original loop, yarn over, and pull through both. So this stitch here, I do not count in my rounds. So we had 6. Now we're going to do an increase round, which means we are going to place 2 waistcoat stitches through each single crochet that we originally made. So this round will end with 12 stitches. So my first one is going to go right here. So this is the first stitch of the next round. It's right below where the 2 meet. So I'm going to take my hook, push through, making sure again that it's splitting these 2 posts in the back, which it is. I can see 1 on each side. Pull up a loop. When you have 2 on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So there's 1. And I'm going into that same spot again. So I'm going to push my hook through that same spot, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. And as you can see, my circle is opening, and that is fine. It's actually a little bit easier, I think. And then we can tighten it up again after. So here is my next spot. So I'm going to push through. And I like to use my middle finger to kind of guide me in between the 2 posts. So, but still double check until you are comfortable with these stitches. This one did not go through the 2 posts. It almost looks like it because you can see a stitch here, but I can see that they're both right here side by side. So I'm going to take my hook out and try again. There. Now I can see that my hook is in between both posts. So again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. And then one more time into that same spot. Now this is where I go next, right here. So again, I'm just going to push through, double check, it's between both posts, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both, go back into that same spot again. Okay, now I'm just going to continue quickly. Okay, so this last stitch is going to be a little different because that's where the tail is coming out of. So you are still going to push through and then pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both, and then do it a second time. Okay, that should be 12 stitches. We could double check by looking at the sides. You are not including this one here. This is just that fake stitch that we put in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Do not include what is on your hook. So once you have 12 stitches, you are going to remove your hook. Now we are going to place our hook underneath our first stitch, just like before, to do the invisible join. So before I pull this over, I'm just going to show you this is where we're going to be pushing our hook through. So once I pull this through, so as you can see, it's the stitch right underneath where we just pulled this over. Or if you look at that top loop, it's down and to the right. So I'm just going to push my hook through. Again, always make sure that you are splitting those posts in the back. Pull up a loop. Push it back through the original loop. Yarn over and pull through both. Okay, so this next round is going to end with 18 stitches. So I'm going to place 1 waistcoat stitch into the first stitch and then an increase, which means 2 into the next. So it'll be 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way around, and that will equal 18 stitches when we're done. So I'm going to take my hook and go into this first spot here. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. Now this next stitch, I'm going to place 2 or an increase. Now in the next one, I will just place 1. And then in the next one, I will place 2. So 1, I'll continue doing that until I get to the end. Okay, I'm in that last spot right here. That's going to be an increase, which is going to be 2. And then I should have 18 stitches. Okay, now I am going to switch colors. You don't have to switch colors the way I am, but this is how I like to switch colors. I like to cut my cord, leaving a tail, and then you are going to just pull your hook out. And then I use a darning needle. You could also use your hook. We are looking for that top stitch again. I'm going to just carefully place my needle underneath and pull that cord through. And then I'm going to place my needle through that center right here where that piece is coming out of. But also turn it around and make sure it's going right here underneath that little loop too. Pull that cord through. And then I'm just going to adjust the tension to make sure it's even like the rest of it. That's good enough. So I can go ahead and pull this closed. If you pull too hard, sometimes this rips off. I've done that a few times, so be careful when you're pulling. So I will just take my needle, weave this underneath a few stitches. You got to be really careful that you don't poke it through the actual cord like I just did. I can see that little tiny piece right there. So I'm going to back it out, or you will rip through your cord. So let's try that again. Okay, that should be better. Yep. So I'll just do a couple more. Okay, that's good. Then I'll trim that off. And I'm going to do the same thing with this tail. I'm just going to weave it in just a little bit. Okay, that's fine because I already stitched over the tail when we were first starting the magic ring, so that's good. Now I'm going to add in the color beige. For this basket, I did a round of slip stitches. I don't really like how it turned out, so I'm going to add this color in just a little bit different. Okay, so now instead of going with the new color through the front V, I'm going to do single crochets on the top. So we have the front loop, the back loop, and then this extra little loop back here. So what I'm going to do is take my hook and go underneath that back loop and that little top loop here, these ones. So I'm going to just place my cord over my hook and pull up a loop. Make sure that you leave a tail. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both. Now we have to continue the pattern. So we left off doing 1 and an increase, 1 and an increase to have 18 stitches. Now we're going to end with 24 stitches. So I am going to do 1, 1 increase, so 1, 1, 2. But instead of the waistcoat stitches, again, I'm going to go through this back loop and that extra little top loop right there. So I'm going to pull up a loop. Here's 1, because I'm not going to include this one. And now I'm in the next spot. Here's another one. And then here I have to do my increase. So again, back loop and that little top loop. So I'll place 2 stitches here for an increase. Here's 1, and in the same spot, do a second one. So there's 2. Okay, so again, making sure I'm getting that loop on the top. Here is 1, my next one, 1, and then right here is where I'm going to do an increase. So, oop, I went through the V. So right here, place 2 stitches. So I will just continue that all the way around so that I do 1, 1, 2, and again I should have 24 new stitches on top. Okay, I'm at that last stitch, so that's my last increase. So again, I'm just going to do 2 very carefully. So here's 1, and here is 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the same thing as before. I'm going to cut a tail. I'm going to pull all of that through with my hook, and I'm going to close it with the invisible join again. This time I'll show you with the hook. So again, you just go over the first stitch, which is right here. Take the tail, pull it through, and now I go underneath these two here with my hook like this. Take the tail, pull it through, and then just adjust the tension just like before. And that is good. So I have 24 stitches, and instead of weaving these tails in, I am just going to work over them. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 more rounds with the terracotta. So I am going to just undo my knot. I always do a little knot when I'm not using a roll, just so I remember which end is the correct end to use. So I'm just going to pull a bunch more out. That's good. Okay, so this time I am going to go right through my V with the waistcoat stitch. So I will go right here through this V with my hook, push it through, it's split in the back. Same thing as before, I'm going to bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. This is just to get started. So we did 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Now to get 30 stitches, we are going to do 1, 1, 1, 2. So 3 waistcoat stitches and an increase stitch. So I'm going to go through this V. But this time what I want to do is I want to take both tails and just lay them over my hook. Try not to lose them. If you hold it like this, it'll work. Take your working cord and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through both. So now I'm going to go into the next stitch, same way, through the V, splitting the post in the back, and again, make sure those tails are over your hook. And this is just so you don't have to weave it in. If you want, you can weave in your tails before or after, but I like to do it as I go. So now I'm going to do one more. And then now I'm ready for my increase. So this stitch here will be an increase. So I will place 2 waistcoat stitches in the one spot. So there's 1, and here is 2. Okay, that looks good. So I can go ahead and trim these tails. Okay, now they are out of the way, and I'm going to continue again, going with 3 single waistcoat stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, and now it's time for an increase right here. Okay, so again we have 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2, 3, increase. I will do that all the way around until I come to the end. Okay, I actually wanted to show you how I weave this side of the tail in. So now I'm going to just finish. I have my last few stitches, so I'm going to go in, place the tail over my hook, but it's just facing in the opposite direction this time, like that. And then I'm still just going to stitch around the tail like this. So there was 1. Here's another one, and that tail's already there. See, it's like that. So here's my last single. And in this last spot here, I will do my last increase. So there's 1 and 2. All right, so now that that tail is already secure, I'm going to go ahead and trim it. So I think that's good for my base. What I'm going to do again is go ahead and cut a tail. You don't really have to use your hook. You could just take the rest of this and just pull it through. Again, goes underneath that first stitch. Pull it through. You're on this side. Goes right here where it's coming out of. place your hook underneath and pull that tail through. Try to make them as even as possible. Okay, so for this one I actually am going to weave it in with a darning needle real quick. Now I'm going to show you how to do the slip stitch border at the end. So I am going back to my beige, and again we have the front loop and back loop. I'm going to slip stitch through the back loop only, not that little top loop, just this back loop, just like that. So I'm going to pull up a loop. Again, make sure you leave yourself a tail. And then I'm going to go directly into the next back loop here. So that just means go right there with your hook, pull up a loop, and then I pull it through that first loop. Then just pull to adjust your tension. So that first one is a little awkward just because it's super loose, but just pull it down and it'll work out perfectly. Then I'm going to go directly underneath the next one. So again, there we are. Right there, and then pull up a loop and pull it through the one on your hook. So into the next one, goes through here and through the original. So like this, pull through, pull through. All right, and this is what I will continue to do until I get to the end. Okay, I'm going to trim a tail, pull this through. This time I'm going to use the needle. Now I'm going to take the needle and go underneath this stitch here very carefully. Pull through. And then I'm going to push it back right through here where it's coming out of, and then pull this through. Now just adjust my tails, and that is it. That should be 30 stitches. Now I'm going to use my needle to weave these two in. Okay, now it's time to start the sides of the basket. So in order to leave that trim really pretty and showing, I am going to be working underneath just this loop right here, this terracotta loop. So this spot is fine. It doesn't really matter where you go. Same process, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and then just tighten it down. So now I'm actually going to weave the tail in as I go. So I will go directly into this next loop right here. So just carefully place my hook under the loop, take that tail, place it over my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. So this entire round is going to be single crochets going through that little loop that was left with my terracotta color. Just that loop right there. So again, take my hook, go underneath that loop, making sure my tail's over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. After you do a few, you can go ahead and trim your tail. It's just to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, that's fine like that. So I will carefully trim. And that's it. I'm going to do this all the way around until I come to the end, and I will show you how to close it with the invisible join. Okay, I did my last stitch. I will take my hook out, and I'm going underneath the first stitch, which is this one right here. So I'm going to push through and then pull this loop over and then pull it to the back. Take my hook out. So again, we're looking for that V that's right underneath where we just pulled that loop through, or down and to the right. So down to the right. I'm going to push through my V, making sure it splits the posts in the back. And then I'm going to pull up a loop, push it back through the original loop, yarn over and pull through. Okay, so now this is going to be the same process over and over for all the rounds until you have your desired height. I will probably do about 5 rounds and then change back to the beige. So we are just going to be doing waistcoat stitches over and over for every single round. But the only thing you have to remember is when you come to the end, you do the invisible join just like this. So we are back to going through the V, and you can actually, depending on your tension, see that split right there. So it's this front V and the 2 posts in the back. So I'm right here. Just going to push through. I see that it split the posts. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. So you would just repeat this over and over until your basket is the size you would like it to be. So just look for your V, push through, make sure you split your post, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. If your tail comes to the front like this one, that happens to me a lot, I just take my darning needle and you could just kind of push it back in. Or you can carefully trim it off. So again, push through, pull up a loop. There we go. All right, so I will continue this for several rounds and then I will show you what to do next. I thought I would show you one more time, now that the basket's a little higher, how to do the invisible join. So pull the hook out, goes under that first stitch, pull that loop through, and I'm just going to place my hook right here, down and to the right, push it through, pull up a loop, go back through the original, yarn over and pull through. So I have one more round and then I'm going to show you how we switch colors. Okay, I want to show you 2 ways you can switch colors. I'm going to show you one way that a lot of people do that I don't tend to do, but I'm going to show you just in case you like this way better. So I am going to go ahead and pull my hook out, go in with the invisible join the same way like this. And then when you're here, instead of pulling up this loop, you just take the new color. Make sure you leave yourself a tail. Pull in the new color like this, then go back through the original, yarn over and pull through. And then you would just continue the same way with the new color. So I'll just do a few stitches so you can see what I mean. Okay. So it looks beautiful on the outside. It's totally okay if you want to do it this way. It looks really pretty on the outside still. But on the inside, that terracotta color shows through. And that is because of the process that we just did. So to eliminate this showing, you would cut it the way I've been doing it when I add a new color, and I'll show you the difference. Okay, so I'll just take this out. And I'm going to trim. Go ahead and pull that through. You can use the hook or the darning needle. Place it here, just like before. Goes right here where it's coming out of, and through that back stitch on the inside. Pull it through. There, it's nice and clean. You can see, looks good. Now I'm going to weave this in really quick, just underneath a few stitches. Okay, that's good. Now if you're giving this as a gift and you want it to be a little bit more secure, you can go ahead and weave it in some more, but I am keeping this for myself and I know it won't come apart. So now you see it's nice and clean. You can't see that stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do it the way I normally do. Place the tail in. It's the same exact thing we just got done doing. Go ahead and go through a V. Pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through. I'm going to pull my tail over so that I can weave it in as I go. So I'm going to go into the next stitch like a regular waistcoat stitch, same thing we've been doing the whole time. Just make sure that the tail is on your hook to weave it in, and just continue the exact same pattern of just waistcoat stitches. Now I'll trim the tail. But as you can see, it's nice and clean. We don't have that extra terracotta loop. It'll all be just the beige. So now I will continue doing this until I come to the end. Okay, I'm going to do my invisible join. So the other basket that I showed you, I had done some handles. I'm not going to do handles. I'm actually going to do this last round with half double crochets. Okay, to do a half double crochet, we are going to just yarn over one time. Go ahead and place it through the V the exact same way. Pull up a loop. There'll be 3 on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Again, yarn over, go through the V, pull up a loop, 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I'm just going to do this all the way around and then I will be done. I'll show you how to close it. Okay, I already cut it. Now I'm just going to pull this through. And I'm going to close it the same way. I'm going to go here, under this stitch, pull it through. And then from the top, just go through the top loop, that back loop, and then that one on the inside, pull it through. So because I went ahead with my regular single crochet or waistcoat stitch for the invisible join, this stitch does not look like the rest of them. These ones all have this extra little loop right here. So once I bring my cord to the inside, I'm just going to very carefully bring it back through from my invisible join stitch to my first half double crochet, pull my cord through, and then if I just loop it around and then push it through right here, pull it back through to the inside, now it looks just like the other stitches. And that is it. I'm just going to weave in my tail real quick. Okay, and that is it. Hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.